In this video, we will be reviewing the disassembly and reassembly of the Bailian GOW 15 for service on the fourth stage piston and valves. Remove the bolts from the fan cover using a 14mm wrench. There are 6 bolts to remove. Remove the fan cover. Then, disconnect the temperature probe from the fourth stage. Disconnect the suction and discharge lines from the fourth stage using a 19mm wrench. Tape both ends of the suction and discharge fittings with painter's tape or a clean glove to avoid contaminating the oxygen lines. Disconnect the discharge line from the third stage using a 19mm wrench. Tape both ends of the discharge fittings with painter's tape. Remove the 4 nuts that hold the fourth stage piston housing using an 18mm wrench. Remove the fourth stage housing and place it on a clean work surface. To handle the oxygen-clean components of the booster compressor, don a pair of powder-free gloves. To remove the piston from the cylinder housing, thread an M10 screw into the end of the piston and pull. To perform the service, you will need a new piston and the 4-stage piston insertion tool. The tool has a tapered bore. Insert the new piston into the larger end of the insertion tool such that the threaded end is facing out. Align the piston tool with the cylinder bore. Firmly press the piston completely into the cylinder bore. Unscrew the 4 bolts on the discharge side valve cover using an 18mm wrench. The valve spacer will come out easily. The valve can be removed by using one of the cover plate bolts. Thread the bolt into the valve and pull to remove. Unscrew the 4 bolts on the suction side valve cover using an 18mm wrench. Remove the valve spacer and valve in the same manner as the discharge side. Note the difference between the suction and discharge valve shapes. The shorter valve is the suction side, and the longer valve is the discharge side. During service, the valves are replaced. Note the copper crush washers shown that seat below the valve. Not shown are the copper crush washers that sit on top of the valve spacers. All crush washers are replaced during service. To assemble the valves, first insert the smaller of the new copper crush washers. Then, using a cover plate bolt, insert the new valve. Next, place a new valve spacer on top of the valve with its hollow side facing the valve. Next, place the larger of the new copper crush washers on top of the valve spacer. To complete the service of this side of the cylinder head, reattach the valve cover plate with the 4 bolts using an 18mm wrench. Repeat this process for the other side. Reinstall the fourth stage housing. Be sure to orient the discharge and suction fittings to the correct side. Reinstall and hand tighten the 4 nuts that attach the fourth stage housing to the compressor. Then, using an 18mm wrench, Tighten the 4 nuts. Remove the tape from the 4th stage suction and discharge fittings and reattach the lines. Tighten the fittings with a 19mm wrench. Reattach the temperature sensor. Finally, remove the tape from the 3rd stage discharge fittings and reattach the line using a 19mm wrench.